Wright Jr. himself, the legendary head of security at Death Row Records, Compton legend, and he is a legend because he definitely paved his own way and he got his own story. He ain't ride the coattails of others. He was a part of that story just like everybody else. So man, I thank you for blessing the platform, man.
Respect, brother. Appreciate you inviting me. I know it's it's an honor to be invited and to be requested by people to come and share my story. So
Yeah,
respect,
man.
brother.
One thing I like about you, man, I watch a lot of your interviews, a lot of them, man, honestly. One thing I like, you are a straight shooter. You don't do the favoritism thing. You don't try to just bash this one person. You tell it straight up. It seems like you don't leave nothing out of the story to make this person sound good or bad. You tell it how it actually went.
That's how I try to want to be. I get accused of being one sided sometimes, but I just be like, hey, I
Hey,
tell the good with the bad. I got my favorite term is I call a ball, a strike a strike.
yes, sir, man. The truth hurts some people, man. The truth hurts some people.
Exactly.
Now let's get into it, man. Like I want to know a little bit about yourself, about your story. To start off with, we'll get into the other stuff, but I want to know like about the young Reggie Wright
Okay.
Jr. Like growing up in Compton. Like how was that for you? Like how was like your adolescent years?
To be honest, I'm one of those kids that came from a two-parent household. Uh, had a moms and pops in the house, um, and all they did was moms was at home taking care of the house up until about the age of 12 or 14, and pops was out going to work and doing his thing. And my main thing was playing sports. If it was football season, we was playing football. If it was basketball season, we was playing basketball. If it was baseball season, we was playing baseball. And as long as we kept the grades up and doing what we were supposed to be doing, that's all they required of me. Uh, that's up until the age of 14. I did start working at the age of 14 at this place called Big D Ranch Market in Linwood, a grocery store. And I worked there all the way through high school while playing football, and went on to Cal State University of Long Beach. And during that time, while I was working there, I worked in the jail for a few years, and then at the age of 22, 23, became a police officer. And
All
so that
right,
was my life.
all
That
right,
was,
okay. So this is what I want to ask you, right? That, me and a couple of my friends, we toggle back and forth. The two-parent household thing. You don't see
okay.
that a lot nowadays. And the question that we have for ourselves, because we've been legit, we did the street thing, and I'm not gonna say I'm proud of it, but my environment and my upbringing pulled me in that direction. It was like a force field. So what we ask ourselves is it the fact that our fathers wasn't in our lives that made us that makes people kind of like veer off into that direction, or is it more of the environment?
I think it's more of the protection, and then I think gangs. My my experience is for people that needed someone else to lean on. Uh, as far as to have this to feel protected. um, that's what I got from guys that generally join gangs, and that don't have there were guys with two-parent households that joined gangs, but it was very few from my experience that went that route. Um,
So do you think that the environment plays a bigger role in the upbringing of a man than the household?
well, if you don't have that strong family bond or that strong male figure in your household, then it's easier to go to that homeboy that would be like, "I got you, come
Yeah.
with me." that you wanted to look up to. So I think we pick our models a little different. Where growing up, I always wanted to impress my dad, and that's probably why I went around the law enforcement road. Where if you didn't have a dad in the house, you might have wanted to impress big homie that was down the street
Yeah,
that was still living with his mama, but he
yeah,
had a nice car and all of that, and you thought he was the man. You know
yeah.
what I mean?
Until you get older and look back like, hold
And then
on,
you'd be
man,
like, he's still living with mama.
man. So you growing up, and your dad was a police officer
He,
back then.
he was a police officer, but he started a little late in life. He didn't become a police officer till like the age of 30.
So about
My
how
dad,
old?
my dad actually was the basketball coach in the area. He
Mhm,
and the baseball coach. He coached a lot of people growing up. I don't know if y'all heard of the Dapper Dan program and the Watch Magicians in the Arizona BCI. He was one of the first ones that got guys in the Imperial Courts housing projects and made he had a traveling basketball team he called the Imperial Court Stars,
mhm,
and then he was associated with the Watch Magicians, and he really helped a lot of kids from Roy Hamilton, David Greenwood, Leon Woods, and all of them. And these are guys that was real big in basketball and real good in the mid 70s.
mhm,
And so that's what he was mainly known for, and that's mainly what he wanted to do until in like 76, 77, he decided to go in the law enforcement way because our uncle, we had a cousin, actually his cousin, we called him uncle, but he actually was my father's cousin,
mhm,
became the chief of police. He was a lieutenant for the city of Los Angeles Police Department, but he became the police chief in the city of Compton. And he knew my dad had relationships in the city of Compton because my dad started off as the Edison. He worked for Southern California Edison, which is like the power company in the city. And
mhm.
he had that one job where, and that's why he kind of knew everybody. Number one, because he grew up in the housing projects with most of the people that moved to Compton. But secondly, he had that one job that was in charge of going to the people when that
Yeah,
red pink bill was there, where he had to
yes.
go and cut off the lights.
Cool with them.
Yeah.
They got they're cool. So
And so,
listen, right? This is
go ahead.
what I was getting at. Okay, like back then where gangs were really like booming. That was really the thing to do. And you know how the gang members are today to whereas no snitching, don't talk to police. So like, okay, you growing up in a tight knit community such as Compton, did did your environment change for you when your dad became a police? Like, did you have to face certain things once your dad became a police? Like,
Well,
things
also
of that
young.
nature.
I was young. Gangs were number one was new, and they definitely were for people that was a lot older than us.
Hmm.
When my dad became in the law enforcement, I probably was still in like the third or the fourth grade.
Oh, okay, yeah. So it
Yeah.
wouldn't have mattered. Yep.
So yeah, yeah.
All
So
right.
that didn't affect me at all. Um, and plus he wasn't the asshole type cop
Yeah,
where and so it was all right. That's Little Reg.
yeah.
You hear him still now, they be like, oh, that's
He
Little Reg.
respected the community.
Yeah. And so
Okay.
I always kind of had that umbrella because I was Little Reg. To be honest,
Okay. So you in growing up, you never came close to teetering with joining a gang or
never.
hanging out. You were wrapped up in football and in sports.
When I was growing up in our neighborhood, you had three sets of guys. Well, maybe a little four now, but I'll put the game members and the gangsters or the drug dealers. I'll put them in the same category. So you
Okay.
had that set of guys, which there's a difference. I'm trying to teach people there's a difference between a drug guy or a D boy and a gang member.
Yeah, a
But
hustler and a gang member.
it's a big difference. But a lot of
Can
people,
you tell them what that difference is?
well,
From
a D
your eyes, your point of
from
view.
from my point of view, a D boy or a hustler is just about money. They'll do anything. They don't care about no red, blue, even though they needed them. Most of their friends or their childhood friends were either red or blue or whatever. But they across that territory line to make that dollar.
Yeah.
They just want to get
What
that dollar.
you call it? High top. Was that his name? High top.
High top, yeah. Well, High Top
Yeah.
was a snitch. They made High Top out to be High Top was a snitch. And their colors. Y'all don't know he talking about their colors, y'all.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway,
All
uh,
right.
now High Top was red, but he was the snitch. And that's why we was always mad. Man, why y'all gonna make him look like they gonna make
Yeah.
the Bloods out to be a snitch in the movie? But anyway, um,
Yeah, man.
but
Oh,
anyway, but now then you got your gang members. That's just a straight out. He don't care about nothing but protecting the hood,
yeah.
protecting the
He
territory.
ain't getting money.
He don't care. The D boy be like, calm down. You're making it hot. Now police is
Yeah.
tripping. Well, the gang member be like, F that. They just rolled in our area. We about to go
Yeah.
roll back in their area.
They can't be controlled. The gang
They,
members can't be controlled.
they have a different,
Nothing that you can do will control them. They are so wrapped in it.
exactly.
I
And
I
so
I
that's that
okay.
guy. That's that set. So we're going to call them 1A and 1B. And
Hmm.
then you had the second ones, which were the geeks. The dudes who probably the bosses right now or whatever. We call them geeks or
Yes.
whatever.
Those are the guys that we thought were geeks. Those were
Exactly.
actually the smart ones. Those
Exactly.
positions
And so I always call them the future bosses is what I call them.
yeah.
I look at my son all the time. I call him a geek. I say, but he gonna be a boss one day
Hmm.
because that's all he care about is learning and doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Hmm.
Then you
And
had
with
the
so
third set
many
of guy
with
who
so
some
many
people
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead,
Where
go ahead,
some
go ahead.
where some people would say crossed over and went into both of them. I didn't experience it, but I get in the comment section. A lot of people be like, "Oh, I was both." Okay, well, it was very few. But
Hmm.
you had the athletes, the guys that was playing football, basketball, or baseball. Now
Hmm.
you had some guys that was an athlete that game banged a little bit, but that was very, very rare.
Yeah.
Or was call himself a D boy or a game member. But for the majority, when I'm speaking in majorities. I know there's a few that slips through the cracks on all three sides,
Hmm.
but for the majority, I always found that the and so I said all that to say, me and myself and Suge Knight and all of them, we were in the athletic category growing up in the city of Compton. One thing about the three categories, they didn't really mess with each other.
Yeah.
The game members didn't mess with the athletes. They were pushing them on to say, hey man, do what you're doing. Good job. You had a good game or whatever. The geeks, they stayed and did what they did. Nobody went picking on no geeks or anything like that. And so growing up when we was growing up, those three categories, everybody kept to themselves
Hmm.
and dealt with each other. Now, of
And
course, you're
it's
gonna have some times when something has happened, but it was very, very rare.
very rare. But
Very
see,
rare.
the thing that I don't like today, that's going on today, they're not protecting the athletes or the geeks anymore. They
Yeah,
they
because
they they're getting killed. The athletes are getting killed. The top athletes, the high school athletes, and they are getting killed.
why? Because everybody now, because of social media, they want to cross over. They want to
Mm.
go out and hang out at the parties. We just had this basketball player in Los Angeles, this young kid that was at Crenshaw High, captain of the basketball team and everything. He was out at a basketball late at night at a party where gang members was at.
Oh no!
And so, it's
Wrong place, wrong
unfortunate.
time.
It's unfortunate that everybody crossing over because everybody chasing social media, likes, pictures, and females. And so
Hmm.
you have those issues where we're crossing over a little bit, but you're right. We're not protecting them like we should. Like I see there's a couple of movies out there where the D boys be like, man, here's some money. Go buy yourself some tennis shoes.
Yep.
Here, go, go do good. And and now it's like the D boy, the basketball player want to hang out with the D boy. And And then you have that problem where when you was in junior high school or high school, the D boy was tight with the athlete, and then they went their separate, and they try to go their separate ways, but their past relationships or the mothers and fathers relationship with their mothers and fathers bring them back together, and
Hmm.
sometimes that's what happens where it may cross. But you're right, we got to do something where we start protecting the three different category of guys.
Hmm. So, all right. So now, all right, we at the police force.
And just remember, we just generalizing. We know everybody. We
Oh
know it's
yeah.
a gangster that's as smart as a motherfucker that's
Uh-huh.
gonna be running the company. We know there's an athlete that's about it, but we're just
Hmm.
talking about in general, for the majority.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, you at the police force now. So when you enter that world, was it like a culture shock from what you thought, from what you first thought? Okay, the police force, the police academy was, or when you got in it, did things start to surprise you the way that it was actually ran in the inner workings? So like
Well,
come we're the police, we uphold the law. It's one of those situations like when you go into a job, it looks fun, but then when you get in there, it's like, hold on, what's this? I didn't sign up. So like, was it a culture shock?
not
Like, what is?
initially, not initially, because that's what you was about. They teach you. That's how they had you trained. They had you brainwashed. Kick ass, take names. I'll be honest, I was an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
We're starting off. But it takes experiences, and thank God they didn't have video cameras and stuff like they do, and social media like they did when I was a cop. I
Mm-hmm.
should probably still be just walking out from a federal indictment or something. But
Yeah.
uh, but to be honest, it took situations like that you learned that the department are not behind you. A lot of people think that the higher ups tolerate that or want that culture. When you get in a management job and you the boss, and all of that stuff happen, that's the worst thing you can have. You hear is like those Memphis cops. That female chief, thank God she was new on the job. I know she went there. They went crazy when she heard those officers did that. That
Mm-hmm.
that BS.
And their reputation.
But if you notice back in the day when there were chiefs on the job that that cultivated that type of culture, they were the first to get fired.
Mm.
I to this day wasn't even there. Still get blamed for the incident with Tupac.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't even there. But I get blamed. So I understand how shit rolls downhill. It starts from the top. And then
Mm-hmm.
and then it just start rolling down. People start getting blamed or getting fired from the top. So
So you came into the force during the crack era, correct?
correct. The 80s. Wild Wild West.
Yeah, for gangs and for the crack era.
And the crack area. Correct.
So
Which the games were a little bit, but it was mainly about territory and streets there. But they were a little bit more nicer because they were making money.
yeah.
And they wasn't on that Sherm no more. Because you got to
Mm-hmm.
remember, game members were Sherm heads back in the day. That's how they used to get their liquid power, their courage. They smoke
PCP.
on a wet daddy, and then they go do crazy shit.
Mm-hmm.
Where rock cocaine, it came so unattractive. If you know anybody that was really on rock cocaine, you didn't want to be around those type of motherfuckers.
No,
He was like, and it was bad. You didn't even want a chick. I mean,
because if you have a conscience, or if like some people are in the streets just to survive, just to eat, just to get a dollar, just to survive for the next day, and some people embellish the streets. They
yeah,
embellish. So, like, if you have even a tad bit of a conscience and you're in the streets, you're not going to want to be around those type of people because you're going to feel bad for what you're doing to your
yeah,
people. The things
yeah.
that you see them do is going to bother you.
Well, I didn't experience that.
Well,
The spirits, they just didn't want to be with them because they thought they were nasty. Their hands was burnt. they, the bitches was stinking. They didn't take care of their hygiene because all they were doing was worrying about chasing around and chasing that rock. So
so listen, right? What was your worst day on the force where it's like, whoa, 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 wait a minute, what the hell is going on? Like,
our
what
two,
was your worst
we
that
had
you
two.
can remember?
My best friend, a guy that was in my first marriage wedding, was killed in the line of duty. Uh, a guy, Kevin Burrell, was like one of my best friends. Got murdered and
And,
killed by a
and
guy that,
you were on
huh?
call with him?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh man,
And he got killed. There was two of them. They got killed. Him and James, and that was a time when it made me like, okay, this shit is serious. It was, we thought it was just cats and mouses chasing people.
yeah,
And then when you knew that three strike law, we knew once the three strike law came, they was gonna be like people that had two strikes gonna be like, shit, what I got to lose?
yeah. I
We
don't
didn't know they were gonna possibly start letting people out.
think their officers when they made that rule.
Could you repeat that?
I don't think they accounted for the safety of their
No,
officers when they made that law.
not at all. But we knew it. We knew it was like, oh shit, y'all better be serious now because now these brothers. The only good thing about it back then, the court systems and the cops wasn't that smart. So guys were getting a lot of DA rejects. How many times you heard your homeboy say, I got DA reject, got her DA reject? And so
Hmm.
that's why a lot of guys generally didn't fight you because they might thought they were about to get a DA reject.
Hmm.
But a dude that had two strikes, which this dude did, and knew he had a gun on him, knew he probably wasn't gonna get no DA reject, what he had to lose.
Man,
What he had to lose.
I seen a video on YouTube. It was a guy from I think it's Fruittown, Brims or Fruittown, Pyrus.
Okay, there.
He was getting chased. He was getting chased and he was on his second strike and he was on live. And he was like, "Right, man, I see y'all later." He's shooting
Yeah,
at the police on live.
yeah. That's
Yeah. I forgot his name, but he did an interview with
yeah,
streetgangs.com.
that's the that was the mentality that we went through in the mid '90s because that law took effect in the mid '90s, and
Mhm.
that's what happened. And
So
yeah, yeah.
so can you bring me to when did you first encounter Suge Knight
Oh
and like when he gave you the proposition to come and join Death Row? When
yeah.
did
Well,
like before that happened?
yeah. Suge and I go way back. We go back to the second and third grade, and so in playing football and baseball together.
Yeah.
So we go back way back further than that. But we played high school football together. We got real close then. Uh, but we went our separate ways. He was a year older, class ahead of me, and he went to El Camino College, started doing real well there, went to UNLV. So I'm watching him from afar. And now I'm working in law enforcement, doing my thing. He went and was playing with the Raiders and was doing things in the music business with Al Heyman and Bobby Brown and all of them.
Al
And so,
Heyman.
yeah, the boxer promoter. He
He
used
was
to
in the
have the
music business?
shit. He the one that did all the Budweiser Superfest. If your mom and daddy, if you talk to your mom and daddy, your uncle, they all used to come to San Diego. Turn that light on, man. They used to come to San Diego every September, Labor Day weekend, and they would come and go to the Budweiser Superfest, and that was Al Heyman production. Al Heyman was real big in the concert touring. He was the main guy doing urban tours back in the day. That's
Man,
where he got his start.
I know a lot of people that know that man. Al,
Yeah,
you don't right now, if you search Al Heyman, you will only see maybe one or two pictures of Al Heyman.
yeah, I was real
Literally.
low key. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
and I was
always usually in the ring. If you know him, you will see him in the ring. Now the
yeah,
guy he died about 3 years ago. His name was Big West. That a big dude with a ponytail in his hair. Well, Ticket Man Sam. They were always in the ring with Al Heyman. Uh, But that was a guy that should. There was a two peas in the pots back in the day. Big West
Mhm.
and Suge Knight. That's where they. That's where they. Started developing their name and stuff like that in the music business. Uh, uh, Big West was Al Heyman, always with Al Heyman until he passed away. However, Suge did break away, from Al in about 1989, 1990. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's who gave Suge his knowledge and break other than Dick Griffey, who had Solar Records. That taught
So
him a lot about the music game as well.
so what how long had you been on a force when Suge came to you with the proposition?
Well, I started in the jail in 1985, uh,
Mhm.
and I was only 19 years of age at that time. Uh, I didn't get approached to, to Suge until about 1993, 1994. 1994 is when I got approached. Uh, but I had been watching him, like I said, from afar prior to that. But I had been working for the police department since 1985.
Okay.
Uh, so
So almost 10 years. Almost
yeah,
10 years.
and
Okay.
so yeah, got approached because we had got some information. And I know you get into that question, so I'll let you go ahead. But the reason why our careers kind of, I mean, our relationship kind of drew us back towards each other was just simply because had got some intel that the guys that was working for him and working with him were being envy and were planning on kidnapping him and holding him for ransom and get some
Is-
money out of him.
So hold on. Is this the guy that supposedly started the company?
Oh,
What?
Ariel?
Yeah.
No,
Is that? Oh,
no, these are some of his own people, the mob guys
really?
that were talking like that. And so we got that information, and me and my dad just brought it to him. Said, "Hey, man, be careful. We heard that these niggas." And he was like, "Man, Red, that's why talking to my father actually. You need
Yeah.
to be over there, you and Red need to come over there. I'm making good. I'm doing good now. I'm making big money." My dad was like, "Man, I'm not trying to do that. Most of the niggas that's working for you, I got cases I'm trying to
Yeah.
institutionalize right now. But me being a 26, 27-year-old guy, I was
Yeah.
like, wait a minute, shit, like, who
Yeah.
you? The one that
Hey,
got
hey, hey.
the chronic? Yeah,
Yeah.
got the chronic. And, I seen that picnic scene. I seen
Yeah.
what was around there.
Yeah.
I could go and
Fun.
hang out with that a little bit. Okay.
Fun
And
time.
yeah,
So so you hear about all the wild stories of Suge Knight, roughing guys up, all the different artists up, different entourage members. Did it start off like that, or did it kind of like transition to that the bigger that he became as far as popularity?
in fairness to Sugar, this is where you get a bad jacket is. Number one, Sugar always been bigger than everybody, so he always kind of had a bully in him. Then he had two cousins that was just as big as he was. So it was like three of them. So when you got three brothers, four brothers, or three cousins, three dudes that move like brothers, they gonna generally run the area because
I've
you got to fight all three of them.
heard this before.
Huh?
I've never heard about his cousins before.
Yeah, they call the twins, Ronald and Donald Knight,
Oh,
and yeah, the twins.
they
And
still around?
oh yeah, real
Huh.
low key. Ain't trying to do no interviews because they still do what
Yeah,
they do.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so anyway, so he had those. So they were always kind of like, okay, leave them fools alone. Plus,
Mhm.
we was at Linwood, not at the Compton schools, and Linwood was a little softer
Yeah.
than the Compton schools. And so, but they were athletes. They were, like I said, the athlete thing,
Hmm.
and so they were. So I say all of that to say, people want to put a bag on Suge like he was just because he got money or all of that or that fame about all the mob dudes when he became a bully or aggressive and all of that. Suge always had that mentality. Even if you look at him when he was playing at UNLV, on that when he was rapping on that little video with the uh you know, you could tell he had leader mentality on even on the football team and stuff like that. So I'm
Mhm.
saying all that to say that so Suge was the type of dude that always felt he was never the one that really to go out and start stuff, but when he had to go and people always came to him for protection or for to make something go away or make something happen, he would go overboard with it.
Yeah.
He was that. Where I used to always try to tell him, Suge, okay, your name is already out there. You ain't got to do that. Only thing you got to say, all right, that's how you want to play it, homie. That's how you gonna do it. I said that'll put more fear in them.
Yeah. Leave them
He
guessing.
never, yeah, he never learned that. He always would just go. And with the artist thing, people always say he did this to artists and stuff. I can't tell what artist that we know that got slapped. He always get that question on him. Tell me one artist. We ain't never heard him slap Nate Dogg. We ain't never heard him slap Corrupt. I ain't never heard him slap Daz. I ain't
Hmm.
never heard him slap Tupac. I ain't never heard him slap Dr. Dre. I ain't
See,
never heard.
it's mainly those guys that's telling the stories of like just a random guy or an entourage member or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
It's
But
never
who y'all
really about.
talking about? Those are his artists. All the other people were just people that he probably was done with. And
Hmm.
they came, and you know how when you get done with, people want to stick their chest out a little more. And then he probably, like I said, the bully side come out.
Hmm.
But it was nobody that he was really made money off of, or there was nothing with that can honestly say that he ever put hands on them. I can't
Hmm.
think. He didn't. Y'all say, "Well, the Sounds needs this and that." He didn't do that. He wasn't the one that did that.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody ever said Suge got up and hit him and stuff. And so that's when people say he always beat up his artists and all that. Now, the incident that he got trouble with the guys in the studio, they were being disrespectful. They were from out of town, and he came walked into a studio, right?
Hmm.
And people that they don't understand it now, but if you lived in the early '90s and stuff, you understand phone bills back then,
Yeah. Oh, they
especially
did.
in a business or a cell phone.
Hmm.
And so they was at the recording studio, and these dudes was just sitting on the phone, and and he walked in, and he said, "Hey, y'all, get off the phone." Kept walking, and so he goes in his office, sitting in the office, and so he looking, and he's like, "These motherfuckers still on the phone." So now they got to
Total
go and
disrespect.
yeah, in his mind, he's being totally disrespect. But it didn't even get worse. He goes and say, "Hey, didn't I tell you motherfuckers? I wasn't there, so but I'm paraphrasing or how I done heard the story go to get off the phone."
Hmm.
They go and say, "Nigga, fuck you. This Dre shit." He already got a self-conscious about everybody thinking Death Row is Dr. Dre and
Yeah.
all of that. Nobody really know who the fuck Suge Knight is. They didn't know. They didn't know
Yeah.
who. They didn't know the business relationship. When you think of Death Row back then, you only thought of Dr. Dre and Snoop
Yeah.
Dogg.
I did. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, and so that's how that story goes.
And
So
that's
I go,
that's the story where he made the guys drink urine.
no, that ain't the urine. That ain't
What
the
did he
urine.
do with
He
the?
stripped them down. He just made it and hit him upside the head, and the gun went off. That's what he got probation for.
Yeah.
He actually got a joint suspension, 9 years joint suspension that he eventually got violated for.
Yeah. Because it
But
seemed like he was on probation for a while.
huh?
It seemed like he was on probation for a while.
He had a 9 year, 5 years probation that he had to do, and it was 9 years. But he fought the case for a while. This happened in like 92, 93. Shit, I was around when he finally got probation. That was like 94. So his probation had just started. And the judge pretty much told him, you get in trouble, you're going to do this 9 years. So he got sentenced to the 9 years, which at that time we had that 50-50 law where now there's 85%. But back then you only had to do like 50% of your time. And so
Okay.
Yeah,
So
that's why he only did like 5.5 years, 5 years on that 9 year sentence.
so this is the thing, right? With that confuses me. I hear Keefy D speak, and I know you guys you guys go back and forth, man. Like you got you know what? It's almost as if you guys really don't even have an issue. It's kind of like a high school rivalry where you wanna beat this team so bad, but you respect
Yeah,
them. It almost seems like that with you too. So this is what confuses me with the whole Keefy D situation. I hear stories of him and Suge actually hanging out, being cool and stuff like that. So I just don't understand where was the turn
yeah.
in events that led to Tupac getting killed if they were cool at one point.
Well, they knew of each other. It wasn't like they were hanging out. He would call and say, "Hey, QVD, come and meet us at such and such club, or let's go and
The
do
way
this."
Keefe D speak, man, is
That's
like they were because he tell the story of one night where they was hanging out there at Rolls Royces and someone shot at Suge Knight's Rolls Royce. So I don't know what's the truth and what's
I
not.
mean, and that's being outside of a club. So he saw that. He did see that. He not telling the story totally accurate because we was actually outside of our cars and we were standing up. We were standing up when the guys came and shot at us,
Mm.
and we actually chased them. Now Suge jumped into his Rolls Royce and chased the guys down the alley, but by that time, me and three other dudes were on their ass chasing them down the alley. But
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
so
So, so
there's a lot of stuff that keep you say just be. That's why I think I don't know if it be hearsay what he done heard or if he
that what it
actually
sound like.
saw it.
That
He
what it
just
sound like.
heard that they were shooting it. People saw Suge driving crazy, recklessly in his Rolls Royce because he was coming with us. He
Yeah.
had jumped in his car and was chasing, trying to get at those niggas too. But you know,
So by the time you get the story, it's done been told 10 different ways.
and that's what I honestly believe, and that's the only reason I correct it or say anything. And it's kind of hard for me to outright just say he lied about everything because I'm not one of those. Because that's
Yeah.
what I get accused. You lie about everything.
Yeah. You know.
Everything ain't a motherfucking lie. Some things may be a lie, but everything ain't a motherfucking lie. Because then if he lie about everything, then I got to say he lying about what he confessed to, and I don't believe he lying about that.
Okay. So
Yeah.
so this is another thing. All right. As far as stories that you hear and it's getting told 10 different ways about the incident in I think it was New York with Nas.
Okay.
So one of Nas's homeboys from his group told the story that they
It
were
was
there
actually his
waiting.
brother Jungle. It was actually his brother
Yeah, but
Jungle.
no, the other guy that be
Oh,
with
okay.
Nas, I think his name is Wiz. He was on the Math Hoffa show, and
I
he
thought that was
told
Jungle. Okay.
he told the story as if okay, they were waiting on him. It was a bunch of them, so they finally seen him, and y'all met head up, and then
Okay.
Tupac stepped out, and then they surrounded him, and Tupac looked back, and nobody was with him,
That's some bullshit.
and then
No one, we didn't leave Park like that. As you seen right before that, how many people were standing around Park while he was getting interviewed? That was like 10 or 15 minutes before that.
yeah,
When he did that interview in the park with the Deathrow East T-shirt on,
hmm
and then when Suge standing next to him. Now, in fairness, Suge and I wasn't with them when they first met up because
hmm
they went walking and everybody was walking. But Pac had about, well, not Pac. Fatal and Napoleon had about 40 to 50 of their boys from New Jersey with them.
sheesh,
Queens, of course, that's their town. They were deep. We
hmm
had guys, but we was out there promoting. But yeah, it was a big crowd once they met up with each other, and it could have got crazy. I'll be honest. Who knows what would happen? Some of their guys would have got mopped up, probably shot, and some of our guys would have the same. Would have been like a Wild Wild West thing, some cowboy Indians bullshit.
hmm
But it didn't happen because those two men were smart enough to go and say, "Hey, let's talk about this.
hmm
Let's. What is the origin of this?
They
Why are we
didn't let
like this now?"
they didn't let their egos
Yeah,
get in the way.
and they worked it out, though. They
That
worked it out like man.
man, that would have been beautiful to see on cam, man. That'd have been beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
But but so as far as Tupac, what was did you see a big change in the climate in Death Row from the time Tupac wasn't there to the time that he got there? So like, okay, it, Death Row was in like three phases, right?
Correct.
You had your Dr. Dre phase, you had your
Yeah.
Snoop Dogg phase, and you had your Tupac phase.
Okay. You don't like the Dog Pound 3 million records?
No. All of that is Snoop Dogg. I put that
Okay,
all
okay.
under, all that is under Snoop Dogg right there.
Above the rim, murder was the case, but okay. All right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. That's that above the rim soundtrack is very underrated.
Correct.
That was I love that soundtrack.
Yeah.
I don't you don't hear people talk about it above the rim soundtrack, but
Yeah.
that was a good album right there.
Yeah.
But it almost seemed like Death Row became, and it could have been gangster before Tupac, but it almost seemed like the gangster went turned into a different type of gangster when Tupac got there.
And I'll tell you why. That was because you had
It
the
seemed more
control.
real before Tupac got there,
Well, you
and
had
then it
the guy
became like violent gangster. Like,
you because you had two different entities. You had a guy that was in control that was pushing the red t-shirts or the red colors, and the guy that was the face that everybody knew that were pushing the blue car, right?
hmm
But now you had Tupac over there, and now the guy that's in charge didn't mind spending more of that money or whatever to push that red line.
hmm
And Snoop was kind of taking a back seat because he was, fighting a murder case and all of that. And so I think that was Suge taking more of a road and putting his love out there. And that's what we were seeing, where Snoop and his people were taking a back seat because they
yeah,
were fighting that case.
yeah, that what it seemed like. It seemed
Yeah.
like everything stopped and it was just Tupac. But
It was just a different, but you got to remember, it wasn't because Suge didn't believe in, because Snoop was still I'm I'm one that would tell you Snoop was still the number one artist in the world
mhm.
until 4 or 5 months after All Eyes on Me was on the streets. So that would mean 94, 95, and about 4 months of 96, Snoop was still the biggest artist in the world, hip
and
hop wise.
and you said something that I just found out just now that Snoop Dogg was still on his murder case,
He didn't get found not guilty on that murder case and off house arrest until March or April of 96.
and Tupac got there and when.
October October the 12th, 1995.
Oh, so
Got there.
Snoop
I
Snoop
mean,
was
he ain't did no records or nothing. He just in the studio working and stuff.
so Snoop
He
was
did.
on Snoop was on chill time.
Snoop had to be on chill time. They
Yeah.
were trying to revoke his bail. They were trying to put him back in jail. Snoop had got brought in because a female cop on the freeway said that he pointed a gun at him.
Oh man.
And they were trying to violate his bail agreement. And so the judge didn't put him back in prison, but she put him on restrictions.
So out of all the artists that was there, and I know you had your entourages there, and this is another thing that I noticed that about Death Row. Even though everybody were a lot of people were gang members, if you wasn't from that culture, didn't know what Crip and Blood was, you would know that they were Crip or Bloods. So like the average Joe wouldn't know they were Crip or Bloods unless you know about Crip or Bloods. It wasn't like in your face a whole lot.
Yeah, they didn't dress like that. They didn't
Yeah.
wear a lot of red and blue. Uh, But Snoop talked about it in some of his music.
Yeah, you got
You
you had.
know, I'm sorry. Um, My apologies.
No, you're fine.
Yeah,
I didn't know about the whole Cripple Bloods thing until I got as far as with the inner workings with Death Row until I was much older.
yeah,
Until I was like in my late teens. That's when I'm
yeah.
like, oh
And that was a lot of the respect too. Because, like I said, the guys that were watching their back were red, and the guys that was making all the money were blue. So
yeah.
it was hard. It was kind of a mutual respect thing among them, the two fashions. I'm telling you, they had a great working relationship. You didn't
Mhm.
have a lot of that drama around there that you would think. It
So
was really a
basically,
unique
Suge.
situation.
So basically, Suge took care of his artists. He took care of his top
Oh
dogs. He
man,
let
I ain't hit these dudes that
take
start
the dog.
complaining.
Let it be no problems with the two entourages.
Exactly, and they respected because everybody was eating. Everybody was doing okay.
Hmm.
Everybody was hitting home runs. Even the entourage people were getting a check. These were dudes that straight out of the penitentiaries and stuff that now got a job, have a purpose in life. Don't have to go and stand on them. Man, I gotta understand after getting out of prison and all of that, most niggas go home to mama and daddy.
Hmm.
I'm not saying they wasn't, but now they can go home to girlfriend who had a Section 8 house or something like that, but they could contribute a little bit.
Yeah,
Keep her ass, keep them off their ass,
yeah.
because they were bringing at least $1,000 and saying, here, you know,
So
and they were bringing something to the table.
okay, now it's a legendary figure out of that whole mob crew that we've been hearing about for years. Which I seen an interview and you said I don't know why they call him that, but they call him Monkey Man. But I think his name is really George Jackson. I think you corrected that. Nobody
George
called
Brown. We didn't call him Monkey Man. I don't know where they came with that
him.
word from.
they,
But his name George Williams. G.
okay,
I call him G. G or
okay.
ponytail.
So what I want to know is like, how was he able to go against so many of those certified street guys? How was he able to do what allegedly he did with all of those street guys without him getting caught? Because okay, like Mob James' brother Buntrial, everybody I hear speak of how he's a stand-up guy and how he's a real G. And you hear about what is it, neck bone, you hear about heron. So it's like, how was he able to go up against those guys and come out victorious like that without, with the type of respect that those other guys had in their section? How was one man able to go against that many people without the other gang members turning on them? Was it like a hatred towards the guys at Death Row, or like what allowed him to operate like that with impunity almost?
Didn't want to get on his side. A little bit of fear and stuff. But I mean, there's some incidents out there that, I mean, he, he got, he's done been shot at and shot.
Ah,
You know,
mm,
we just don't talk
okay,
about him. But it
yeah,
doesn't happen. But nigga was sticking and moving, and then he had a little money. He got in that game, and he had a dude with him where they were the man, and they had money, and niggas was sticking and moving. And now during that time, Suge is not the crew is not as tight as they were like 94, 95, 96.
hmm,
If Suge would have uh went to prison, who knows if it would have went that long?
hmm,
But 94, I mean 90, 97, 98, 99, that was the last of our worries. And stuff wasn't happening like that. It had happened to Heron, uh, but we understand why that happened. There's a reason that happened. There's a reason that everything did happen. But it wasn't like he was just standing outside in front of his mama house saying, fuck you niggas. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
that what
that
they.
either.
That's what a lot make it seem like he was
It wasn't
just
like
running
that.
around here, John Wick.
Nah, no, he wasn't like fuck you. You know, he just
Yeah, he had to lay
moved.
low.
He moved in silence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. So
and a lot of people didn't want that beef. Didn't want that. Like, all right, it ain't my issue,
yeah.
because they knew it was. You had to be ready, and you
Yeah.
better have your money right. You know, they
Hmm.
say you better have your money right. Be ready when you go to war with a nigga like that.
Man, I don't think he would ever come out. Like FG did or Mob James or your.
Oh
I
no.
don't think he would ever come out and show his face to the camera like that.
Well, he take pictures with Whack 100. Just a couple of pictures with him and Whack 100.
Really?
Yeah, took out there on IG and stuff like that. White 100 just recently posted a GoFund page with him and his dad, where his dad passed away about a month ago, and they did a GoFund page and stuff like that. So there's people that have loyalty to him and stuff like that, and so he's very very respected, on both
I
sides.
bet.
So so he's a very respected dude, but he's a quiet dude. He's the type of dude that you wouldn't.
You wouldn't
No, he
think.
would never ever speak or be doing anything like this at all.
Hmm.
But he'll let you also know that he heard it and he ain't pleased with what you said.
Really?
Oh yeah, but
Oh man, he's
my
still
thing is,
still pushing that line.
yeah,
But so I recently. All right. Well, let me not go there just yet,
yeah.
and I'm not gonna hold.
I mean,
So
I have respect for him. Me and him, we ain't got no issues with each other.
yeah.
Yeah,
So all right. This is one thing I always wanted to know as far as the Tupac death situation. Why, like back then, you all wasn't rolling in bulletproof trucks, SUVs, and things of that nature with all
yeah,
that money that Suge had.
yeah. Well, number one, see, that's where y'all want to live in 2000s in the mid 90s. Yeah,
Nah.
you might have bulletproof cars and stuff like that, but you might have one.
Yeah.
And if so, the only thing happened is the windows wouldn't go down, and they were heavy. The technology that we have and know about today, you didn't have then, and you didn't
The,
have
the, the
every
president
car.
would probably and politicians would probably be the only ones with bulletproof cars.
Exactly. So, maybe Michael Jackson or somebody like that. But
Yeah.
those niggas wasn't living like that. How we want to make Tupac today, y'all? People get mad at me when I say this. Tupac wasn't as big as a star as we done made him in later life.
He wasn't?
Hell no. In 95, 96, he was losing to Coolio. He lost Owners of the Year to Coolio on MTV Music Award. LL Cool J was getting more radio spins than MTV. How many times you saw LL Cool J on MTV? Yeah,
I never looked at that. I
yeah.
never looked at that.
Look at that. Tupac had only, prior to death, that's why everybody get mad at me. Me Against the World with Dear
Yeah.
Mama, Tears, and all of that. It's sold 2 or 3 million now. Look at his sound scans all of 95 and 96.
Hmm.
A million. Biggie, 1.5 million.
Hmm.
Fuji's and then were
Yeah,
bigger than.
Fuji's was
Yeah,
they was out of there.
everybody. That's why I get in trouble, because I call the ball of all strike. I know this era.
No, but
LL,
you're right.
Gangster Paradise. Fucking, I think the Roots was starting to blow, or the what was the weirdo dudes? The dudes that something. That's effects. That's the functional. It was people like that were big. They were all 500,000 to 1 million records. Tupac, All Eyes on Me took him to another level, and all of that. But we as a community has made Biggie and Tupac
Tupac.
bigger and later,
Hmm.
like Elvis or Bob Marley and all of them. We have did them all like that later in life.
Hmm.
Hey, but I can see the hate. I can hear the hate already from people.
Man,
Oh,
no.
you a hater, you a hater, but
You're actually
niggas that
right.
was in 92, 93, 94 that was doing this, that was 18, 19, 20. They sit back and they be like, yeah.
Yeah, LL was a bigger star.
LL, I tell you, Coolio beat him for
Hmm.
Song of the Year.
Yeah, because
Snoop,
that Gangsta's Paradise was a
yeah,
huge song. It was a
yeah,
huge song.
Snoop, all of that.
That
Tupac. Everybody think all the Tupac albums. They look at the numbers that it is today
mhm.
versus what it was in the year that they came out. His stuff was just going gold.
Because I think the first song that kind of crossed Tupac over a little bit was California Love.
Well, no, well, Brenda Got a Baby was a good song.
No, 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 no. I'm
Like It
not talking about
Around.
like our favorites. I'm saying to the world,
Oh,
like the
correct, correct.
super big
Yes,
when California Love came out. That was the song
that was
that
a big song. That was a big song for hip hop.
yeah.
That was getting 3,000 radio plays. I don't know what the numbers is now, but we were getting 3,000 spins a week from California Love.
Hmm.
That was crazy numbers.
Hmm.
The radio guy that broke that's probably still living off his bonuses from getting that,
Hmm.
you know.
Hmm.
But Dear Mama, people were loving that video. I mean that song.
Hmm.
So many tears, people loved it, but it was as big as
Yeah, those are like cult classics.
exactly.
Hmm.
And so
So
that was that's the unfortunate thing. I wish somehow people could go, okay, well, this is how it was in '94. This is how it was in '95. But now it's like, and plus, learning about boxing. Who, what rap artist gonna be riding like that?
hmm
They didn't know the rap artists wasn't gonna be letting you put them in a car. You sit in the middle and you have a security right here, security right here. No, back then the image they were the gangsters. They were the tough ones back then.
hmm
Kind of like these motherfuckers want to be now, but we look at them as stupid now because we done learned. The
hmm
nigga just sit back, let your boys take care of it. People learning now. Why the fuck is Boosie walking around with a gun?
I still don't understand that.
Why the fuck you got homeboys to
But
do that? But when they see that social security number he gets, if he don't have to snitch, which he's not. I'm not saying that.
nah.
I don't think he will. But 10 years for that, Boosie gonna do 10 to 12 years.
You think so?
Hell yes. Federal. Every nigga I was in jail with, they got a gun case that was doing 11 years. That's why they take you federally. That's why you take. Now, if it was a state case, it would be nothing. But once they take you feds,
So do you think that someone actually told on him? Like, do you think
they
there
will.
was an informant that set it up? Because
Yeah, it was an
because the way
informant.
Wack described it,
Oh,
like, and it makes sense. Why would the police be watching that particular guy's live at that certain time?
how many niggas is over there? They were watching all that day. All of these rappers, niggas, black men at this video shoot, and those cops was all day were worried about that and watching that. They knew about that all day. They had probably 4 or 5 cops just assigned to make sure nothing went down over there that day. So they've been watching them all that day.
So you don't think there's no chance of him beating it with that little bit of evidence? You think that's
Well,
enough evidence?
the evidence gonna be his prints gonna be on the gun.
I hope
Don't
he was
let them.
smart enough to wipe him off at least.
Man, when do you think of that? When do you think of that? You don't
Uh,
think of that until you after you use it. Then you be like, oh, let me clean it up and do it. You don't think of that when you riding down the street.
yeah, yeah.
You don't think of that.
But see, this is the way I look at that Boosie situation. Honestly, I look at it like they are going to go out of their way to get him because he's making too much noise.
Yeah.
He's publicly shunning people who snitch. He's constantly talking about the feds. He's
Yeah.
constantly talking about how he beat this, beat that. And I feel like right now that snitching has became okay. And I feel like more now is more widespread with people doing it. And
Yeah.
I feel like they kind of taking it personal that he's messing up the new wave that they have going on of being
Yeah.
able to get people to turn informants so easily now. I
Yeah.
feel like
Let me just say this. Law enforcement don't know as much as y'all think they do as far as knowing the history of them. Most of the motherfucking cops don't even know who the fucking Boosie is,
mhm,
like we do. You know what I'm saying? Now there's cops out there that's their job to be on here, that's watching this, that's going to view this channel and view what Reggie Wright is saying and all there. That's their job.
yeah,
If something happened, they gonna go straight to social media and view this. Uh, Wish people would learn that
yeah.
everything you say, there's a special agency, a special set of cops to do that. But all cops don't know that, and all cops don't know who Boosie is. There was somebody there that knew who Boosie was, but they just knew him as a rapper that you know that smelled like a bunch of weed and
So you don't think this is personal?
no, no. But it's going to be now because unfortunately or fortunately, I like what he was doing. Y'all don't know, y'all didn't catch what he was doing, and I tried to bring highlights to it, trying to help the brother by saying I like what he did, by saying how that cops saved his life and all of that. Why you think Boosie shout out that and was talking good about that San Diego cop? Well,
Why?
shit, because he trying to show that hey, I appreciate y'all. I ain't got no problems with y'all. Thank you
But
for saving my life.
how did he save his life?
Oh, you need to go listen to the interview he did on the Breakfast Club, where he said he was having a diabetic coma, and the cop was an ex paramedic, and he went and got some sugar thing and burst it in his mouth and saved his life.
Oh,
But
okay.
that's him right there already trying to show that hey,
Yeah,
I ain't anti-police. I'm just
yeah. All
anti-rats
that.
or snitching or something like that. So I ain't no bad guy. It ain't like I hate you policemen or something like that. Which
Yeah.
is a smart move. Smart move. I don't blame him.
I don't think it's gonna work.
Oh, it's not gonna work. He beat a murder case. He gonna do 10 or 11 years. If he ain't got nothing that he can help him with.
Yeah, they're gonna give him the OJ Simpson treatment.
If he got something he can help him with,
Oh no, he
but
can't do that. He can't
but
do
I don't
that.
think he's that type of dude.
He didn't
I
talk too
don't
much. Can't.
yeah, but he 40, 50, 40 some years old now.
He don't
His
care.
son is doing
He planned on being a rapper the rest of his life. He don't care.
no he not. And he gonna be
He said no
52, 52. He 52, 53 when he get out.
shit. Yeah, when you look at it like that. And then he has a lot of health problems, man.
That's my
That
point.
his
That
diabetes
diabetes.
is giving him
Even
problems.
though prison can't save guys like their lives because you ain't doing all that weed. I mean, I ain't saying they ain't gonna be smoking no weed because they get to that, but they ain't gonna be doing as much weed and all of that as he do when he was on the streets.
Hmm.
So Boosie gonna pick up some weight now. I wish the best for Boosie, man. I don't
Damn.
want to say nothing to mess him up because I like Boosie. I'm gonna
Yeah,
be honest. I like how he come across. I used to didn't understand him. I get him in the last year or two.
man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm really starting to feel like law enforcement is really hone in on Vlad's interviews.
Oh, they not just Vlad. They on your channel. They gonna be on your channel. They on my channel. They got guys that just sit
They
and
got a
listen to me.
unit for it.
Yeah, now Vlad is the biggest, and so he got a bigger platform.
Yeah.
But
And Boosie stays on there talking about snitches and rats.
yeah, but yeah. So, but you gotta understand, cops don't like snitches either.
Yeah, and that's what I never understood, right? They would get a guy to snitch, and the guy would snitch,
Then they
and they
turn on them.
back squeezing him for information. And if he doesn't do it, they'll tell somebody.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, your boy told us everything.
Well, that part. they doing that to try to get you hurt. If somebody come tell you that, oh, your boy Reggie told you everything, and so that mean Reggie ain't snitch.
man. But some people are stupid enough to buy that, man. There's
Yeah,
plenty of people have been in trouble for being labeled a rat, man.
yeah. But if
I
a cop
remember
come out
this.
and
I
say that,
remember
trust
this.
me, that nigga ain't snitched. Just like
Yeah.
people trying to put out there when Boosie was getting the bail and this and all of that, and there wasn't no snitching. If he was snitching, if he was already snitching, then the prosecution wouldn't object to the judge giving him that
Hmm.
$50,000 bail. But
Hmm.
niggas too stupid to realize that.
They gave it to him now, man.
They
I'm
they
glad.
gave it to him, but they took it away. The U.S. attorney objected.
No, he got no. The judge sided with him again.
Okay. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, the judge sided with him again.
But my point is, the U.S. attorney wouldn't have never objected if he was snitching.
Yeah.
Everybody that the U.S. attorney worked for is feds. They on his team, and
Hmm.
so he would just be like, all right, he would just blame it on the judge.
Hmm.
Now they some smart motherfuckers that they got that judge in cahoots with them. If to do it, then they object and then do it. Hey man, that's some maneuvering, but I don't believe I don't believe Boosie doing that yet. I don't believe it. And
Yeah.
so yeah.
So, last
But for
question.
all of those that believe Boosie is snitching and all that, to try to put that narrative out, the prosecution wouldn't have said nothing. They would have never objected if that was to get down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I got two more questions. Right.
Okay.
Out of all, out of all of the guys at Death Row, the artists, they have this thing called a studio gangster.
Okay.
Who and and a lot of those are alleged gang members. So who from Death Row was actually about that life and
As
not
far
just a studio gangster?
as far as artists,
Yeah, artists. As far as the artist, who was an actual, yeah, he's certified.
I will give I would give Nate Dogg that top tier.
Nate Dogg.
Nate Dogg, yeah.
Oh man.
I will give it to
That's
him. Nate Dogg. Nate Dogg,
okay.
ex-Marine. Nate Dogg, yeah, I'll give it to Nate Dogg. Uh, a lot of people will want to say Trey D and all of that. I didn't know much about Trey D that way, but I don't hear no smut on Trey D. Never have, and
Hmm.
so I would probably will say Trey D. Second, but Nate Dogg for sure, for sure. As far as loyal and a good dude, did something stupid that I don't appreciate, but loyal,
Hmm.
well, I will give to Corrupt.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, he did because he came back for that second run. But
But the way he do things and the way he has always spoken about Suge and his appreciation.
he's a very humble guy, and
Yes.
he never smuts anybody's name. Doesn't
Yes.
matter who. I've never heard him disrespect anybody from
Correct.
the Death Row days.
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so last question: what do you think in your mind the biggest mistake that was made in the Death Row days, in the Death Row eras? What do you
Oh,
think?
no royalty department. No,
No.
nothing to show niggas what they actually made. Reason why a lot of people don't like Suge or anybody that will have something negative to say about Suge, they
Hmm.
honestly believe that Suge cheated them all of their due.
Mm.
When I think Suge overpaid most people. Uh, and I
So
would
he didn't
challenge.
have royalty department.
He didn't
He
have a
didn't have.
royalty. He would just give motherfuckers, it was just like, here, this
Oh,
how much
cash
money.
check.
Yeah, here. You need that? Okay, here.
So
So
nothing was
people,
residually.
huh?
Nothing was basically coming in residually.
Stuff was coming in. It was just you didn't know what you was made. But people were living so good, he was paying for everything because nobody had credit. Everybody, so they were looking good. But think about it. You know how hard it is to go try to buy a car. People were like,
Hmm.
"How they didn't have a car? Money don't have a car." Motherfucker, go down to the leasing company and try to a 17, 19-year-old, 20-year-old guy and lease
Yeah.
a 80, $90,000 car. They're not going to give it to you in the 90s.
No.
Shit,
Not now. Not now
2023.
either.
2023. They not.
Yeah.
And basketball players could get it. They could get it. They probably pay in cash or whatever. But okay, so now you just spent $100,000. She'll get you. All right, here's $100,000, and now you got this car. So that's how you want your money? Okay, here's your car.
Yeah. You don't get
You
nothing
got to
else.
remember, you only make $1 a record. So if you sold 5 million records, Snoop Dogg, you only made $5 million.
Mm.
That's all you made. Your murder case alone was $5 million. So if you
You
want to
ain't
go,
even. You ain't even out the red yet.
he's never been out of the red, dog.
So. Oh.
Tupac, Tupac Shakur died a month before or after his royalty statement was due, because it takes 180 days before you get your first income.
Hmm.
But you pay as an artist, you pay all your producer fees, you pay for your video, you pay for the limos, you pay for all of that. Everybody want to say, well, shit, he sold 10 million records. Yeah, he sold 10 million records in 2023. As of August, 6, 7 months, he didn't sell no 10 million records. He sold maybe a million and a half. So that made him made $1 million. His video alone, his videos, he did what, 5 videos before he died?
Man, you would have
They were
thought.
300,000 a piece.
Man, you would have thought. You'd have thought that All Eyes on Me sold so much.
It did eventually,
Yeah, I'm
but
talking
not.
about. I'm talking about during that time, during when Pac was alive. You'd have thought that Pac sold 2, 3 million out the gate.
No. The record is still Snoop with 800,000.
Mm, okay. So, all right, man. Hold on. One last thing. One last thing, Reg. I
No
gotta
problem.
ask you.
Yeah.
Is I seen something where they said Suge is getting some time back. Is that a
Yeah.
myth? Is that
It's
just
something in the
Suge?
work.
Is
It's
that
nothing.
just getting guys trying to rile up the troops again, selling
It's that.
dreams?
It's people working on it, but it's not official yet.
So is David Kenner really coming back to save him?
He is, but then I also posted a video the other day where Snoop Dogg, Harry and David Kenner was all partying together at a party.
Oh, that ain't
You,
that ain't
you
good.
think those two motherfuckers want him up?
That ain't good. Yeah, because David Kenner was helping Harry O, right? Correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, still got to get a better lawyer. You got to get there for lawyer, man.
So,
Man, but listen, Reg, man, I appreciate you for your time, man.
man, anytime you got an open book, you got my number now. You know you my dude now. So,
Solid,
whenever you
man.
need Reg, just hit me up,
Solid.
brother.
I got you. I really appreciate this, Reg.
Respect,
Man.
man.
All right, man. Enjoy your night, man. Y'all go
Thank
ahead
you.
and tune in to Reggie Wright Jr.'s page, man. And
Bomb
also, man,
first.
come out and bomb first. All of that, man. Reg is all over the internet, man. He on fire.
I
And I appreciate
appreciate it.
all right,
Respect,
Reg.
brother. All right. Peace. All right.